hard.
I like tribal beats.
I'm even gonna say that Snitch 9 beat was hard. The Snitch 9 beat was hard, but it wasn't like
I like the Snitch 9 beat or Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I love Snitch 9 now. That Snitch 9, I gotta give it to him though. That Snitch 9 beat is.
What about that video though?
What ass?
Oh my god, the girl in the purple, please. Hit your boy up here, right here.
Steve. Come on, man. You like that?
Oh my God.
Scotty want a little bit of that dark meat. He looked at me in my eye and he said, Grover,
she didn't get him.
I want some of that dark meat.
The tip here is always waiting. I'm talking about the channel too.
I just want you to know that I seen that brown sugar and I just can't control myself no more.
Oh my God, I felt real uncomfortable. If one of those girls was in the room with me, I'd be like, oh my God.
Scott gonna be like the 13-year-old. Scott, can you please write on a nah, just give me the F. I got a hard on. I can't go to the blackboard.
But literally his video right there, the beat was cool.
Yeah.
It was eye candy for sure.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the
okay,
music.
So let's put it in reference. We're talking about Gooba.
Tekashi
Snitch 9. Snitch 9.
Yeah, so I'll probably throw up a thumbnail before this so we know exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, the director of it, the creative direction, I thought was great.
Yeah.
But we want to talk a little bit deeper than just the video.
Well, yeah, I mean, all right, so let's, first of all, full disclosure, I've never been a fan. I always thought he sounded like a Fredro Starr from Onyx. And I think that he's doing a Fredro Starr impersonation.
And what would that be? What would that entail?
A lot of yelling, a lot of hyper aggressiveness, like more of a vibe and more stylistic and not really lyrics. Which, hey, there's a lot of rappers who didn't really have what I consider great lyrics, but could just grab you in a moment and keep you there. So we'll give him a pass on that. But
at least he wasn't mumble rapping, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well,
I mean,
that was one of the things that Tekashi came up right at the end where like the mumble rappers and the weird rappers were kind of going away, and he kind of had a flashy, weird look about him, like the rainbow and things on his face. But it was gangster somehow.
They were attributing like all the rainbow hair mainly to him.
Yeah.
Like he put it on steroids. To say, at least. That's what he did. He embodied the "I am a living rainbow." Like, right? I mean, you see it in his hair, you see it in his teeth. He's a Skittle. That's what he is. He's a Skittle.
They had to get him out of jail because he's going to get popped like a Skittle. But anyway, so let's talk about 6ix9ine.
And I feel like we're going to go in actually pretty deep on this because there's a lot of things that I want to discuss in general. Like it pertains a little bit to society, pertains to culture among like tight groups of what would have been a tight group. It contains about like pertains to ratting and snitching.
Yeah,
how will that be seen now? Well, and how is the young generation taking to this?
All right, so the young generation is trash when it comes to ratting and snitching. They don't care about ratting and snitching. And also, we have to, Tekashi 6ix9ine really solidifies something that we knew for a long time, but we tried to act like it wasn't us. And
what is that?
People claim they make music for the hood, but they don't. They make music for the Midwest. They make music for people who kind of want to like feel a vibe that they're hard or something like that, but want to kind of be away from it. So like I seriously doubt and sincerely doubt that people inside like, Hunter's Point was listening to Tekashi 6ix9ine. Maybe like their little sister was listening to him, but like I never heard like Tekashi like beating out in the streets. Or when
what about talking about like in Hispanic neighborhoods?
Even when I talk to my nephews, if I talk to my friends who happen to be Hispanic, none of them looked at him like, oh, well, this Mexican cat is like representing us, because he really didn't represent being Hispanic a lot.
Actually, so I have a few friends that are Latin, and they really didn't like his rainbow hairness.
Yeah,
but they do like it that that he is of Latin origin.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like there's so many other great Latin rappers out there. I mean, like
Daddy Yankee, right?
Like Snow the Product.
Oh yeah.
Born in San Jose, grew up in LA. Born in San Jose, grew up in LA. One of the best female rappers, period. I mean,
she's pretty too.
Gorgeous, lyric wise, one of the best female rappers. Let the record show that Scotty brought up the way she looked, and I was actually focusing on her skills. And I'm
No,
supposed
she's
to be the dog.
really good.
I know, like rock, flows in Spanish, represents being Mexican to the fullest, right? Holds her own intellectually, runs her entire company, keeps all of her money, you know, sells all of her merch on tour, tours consistently, hardworking, you know, just what I call a blue collar lyricist.
Okay, so let me ask then, because the moment you started talking about Snow the product and you started to praise her for all the things
Obviously,
that she's doing.
I'm a fan. Obviously, I'm a fan.
Yeah, you are a fan.
Yeah, obviously, I'm a fan.
So then I started thinking about Russ. Yeah. How he owns all of his own music. And we've had a discussion about this.
And how much do I praise Russ?
Not much. At all, actually, because I was the one who brought him up.
No, but actually, the things that I've seen of Russ, literally Russ's business plan is what I used.
I was thinking more about music. But
but I think Russ's music is okay. I don't think Russ is a great lyricist. But I got to give it up that his business plan is literally what I took to use for podcasting, for media, and for things of that nature, of just pumping it out consistently, owning everything you do, starting small and holding the line.
So that's where you hit the key word there, and I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Does Tekashi own any of his music?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm sure he has to own a certain... No, actually, he was signed to a 360. I just realized that.
And what's a 360?
A 360 record deal is that you are... So before with a record deal, okay? And if I'm wrong about the 360, then you could just crucify me and I won't give a fuck. But before a normal record deal, the record label was acting as basically a bank that you could borrow money from for your budget, and they couldn't charge you interest, but you had to pay back everything from your record sales, from your mechanical record sales, before you got anything back. They would also make a deal and take a large percentage of your publishing. Usually, you probably, if you're really lucky, you can keep 40% of your publishing, but a lot of deals, they would just give you some money.
Publishing would be your music.
Publishing would be the rights to the music that you wrote. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you write something, you own 100% publishing of it. If you write it and you can prove that you wrote it, you don't have to do anything to maintain the publishing. Let's say if I wanted to make a music with somebody, I would have to understand that, hey, I wrote this, I own the publishing. If they were going to give me something that I needed, like distribution, like exposure, like marketing, I can sell some of that publishing, which is only right because they believe in me. Mm-hmm. And I can say, okay, for this song, I'm going to give you, let's say something astronomical, like 80% of the publishing. And they would say, okay, well, for 80% of the publishing on a song, we're going to push you out. We're going to do this and that. And we're going to give you a big advance. Now, this is the thing that a lot of people in the music industry didn't understand, is that advance you had to pay back.
You had to pay that back?
You have to pay your advance back, and you had to pay it back all your marketing expenses. And so they would still keep that big percentage of your publishing.
So how much of an advance would they give the artist?
It depends on what you could get and how hot
so
you were.
It would be like a credit card.
Joe Budden got like $50,000 and got rid of all his publishing for his biggest hit, and never got it back. Never seen a penny for it.
So, like I said, this whole topic ties in back to society. It's like you're living on wealth that you don't have.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, since if you don't understand what you're getting into, mm-hmm. and by the way, your lawyer might not understand, because there can be so many layers, and a contract itself can be so convoluted that you can have a great person in it, but there can be 4 loopholes in it that they didn't see, who the great person representing you, and it could be 4 loopholes that they didn't see, and you would just wind up getting fucked in the end when they pull those loopholes out. And then you can always, and plus there's no guarantee that they're going to be honest with you, the record label anyway. The record label might just need to say like, hey, we owe the guy $500,000, but we're having a shitty quarter, so we're not going to pay him. Mm. And then it's up to you to get an auditor and audit their books as it retains to you. And then you can bill them back for the auditor and the money. So that's a traditional record label. Now, a 360 deal is a little different. 360 deal is something that was invented by, I believe, I want to say it was invented by Andre Harold. I could be wrong. But I know Leor Cohen has a lot to do with it. Leor Cohen was the president of Def Jam when Def Jam had its amazing run with LL Cool J and everybody like that. Right when Russell Simmons kind of stepped away and they had to Def Jam Music Group and Universal Music Group. Anyway, a 360 says that you are now in a partnership with the record label. So the record label may give you an advance that you have to pay back, but They're going to send you on tour. They're going to send you on marketing sprees. They're going to do all of this. However, in the past, your tour money you would keep, but now they're going to get a lot of that tour money. So we call it the front end and the back end. The front end is all of your sales and your record sales. But now since the front end has gone away with streams, so you don't get mechanical record sales, and how much is a stream really worth? Well, a stream is worth nothing. What really holds the value with the stream is the platform owners, because they collect the advertising revenue for you being on there. So Spotify, you can have 1 million streams on Spotify, and Spotify may make $20 million off that stream. I'm just using a number. You may make $100,000.
So nothing's ever for free.
Never. So now you have a 360 where like the record label may book you on this huge festival tour. Now you see a lot of rappers on festivals where before very few rappers were on festivals. It was a big deal when Ice-T was on Lollapalooza, or Snoop Dogg was on Up in Smoke. That was a big tour. But all these other festivals, I think Snoop Dogg was on Lollapalooza with George Clinton and all that. That was a huge deal because rappers never really got on festivals. Now you see rappers are on every festival. Coachella, you know, like Run the Jewels, one of my favorite groups. They actually played Coachella like 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row. That's a big festival. That's a lot of money. I mean, you're literally getting $90,000 to appear there, but they got you that, but they may get 10%, 15% of that money. And before that revenue wasn't open for them. Sometimes with 360 deals, they get 50% of that money. So basically, if you just really want to hear like insider industry talk that I've heard before, everything that the artist gets, maybe 2 or 3 people finger fucked him for it. that's what they were saying.
In the booty hole?
And any hole they can get in it.
In the booty warrior?
Man butt. So
maybe that video of Gooba, all that ass in that video, all that booty, was symbolism for, you know, he got it in the booty too.
Yeah, so you know, going back to Tekashi though, like I mean, maybe he owns all this music now, maybe he got dropped, but I think that he has to make music immediately. He has to get out of a hole immediately, because I think his record label.
Yeah, he owes.
I'm sure he owes his record label a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to be able to make money touring because, first of all, he's on house arrest. Second of all, it's going to be very dangerous for him to tour. I mean, you sent an entire group of Bloods to prison for years for snitching. Sooner or later, somebody's going to feel a certain kind of way and want to do something for you.
What do you think people within that subculture feel about fans of Tekashi?
I think they think they're all bitches. Like, I can't.
Because right now he has about 11 million subscribers.
11 million subscribers.
That video did 77 million views as of this recording.
And that's like 4 days.
4 days.
That's viral as fuck, by the way.
Even without the girls in the video, like just having Tekashi there, releasing a song and trolling that he is a rat.
And like literally at one point during the video, he had a rat face.
A rat emoji popped up with his little rainbow whiskers.
So he's really.
And he said that now, well, what was that line? I'm something about a rat come back to home. I got a bag. Something like that. You know, so he's trolling hardcore. So
I would say that like most people look at his fans as children, as immature kids who don't live by the same code. Look,
but is that where society's kind of going towards?
Yeah, well,
I mean, we are running into the idiocracy of nowadays is a reality TV show. We're living it.
And society doesn't really have a moral code. So here's one thing. Newsflash. All of the rappers you thought were gangsters, most of them weren't.
Studio gangsters.
All right.
That's
not even studio gangsters. They were like street reporters, as what they called themselves at first. At first, they literally called themselves street reporters. Hey, I'm not necessarily in it, but I see it. Ice Cube wasn't shooting people. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, these were trying, like even Eazy-E was really a Kelly Park Crip, and he was known, and, you know, people weren't going to, like everyone kind of loved Eazy-E, like Bloods liked Eazy-E, so, you know, that deal. Like, even Suge Knight, the big bad boogeyman Suge Knight, the real gangsters around Suge Knight was like the Bloods that were with him, but Suge Knight had money so he could control them. Dr. Dre wasn't some super duper gangster. He was a music guy. DJ Quick, he was a Blood, but because he lived in a Blood neighborhood, but he was a music man. You're not going to be super gangster and be able to focus on your music and have a career. Now there's a few people who are super talented who could, like literally, like Beanie Siegel was going around smacking the shit out of people and stuff like that. And
was the game still affiliated?
Oh, well, yeah. But there's a difference between being affiliated and being an active gangbanger. And this is like, people don't understand that because they're not from or around that culture. But being affiliate, it just means like, hey, I live in this neighborhood, or maybe I had to, get down a couple of times, but I'm not super active. I'm not out here being an active gangbanger, meaning that like, if I see you, it's on site. Oh, you're from another set. I don't know. You ain't did nothing. It's on site because I represent this. So that's not what these guys could be about to get themselves to that position. What these guys were about were making music. They made music with a hardcore street edge for hardcore street people. So now we fast forward. Now all of the, and really people owe Tekashi a vow of thanks, because all of that illusion's gone. Right? All of that illusion's gone. These rappers are, for the most part, are not super thugs or super gangsters,
But what kills me a little bit is that we want to celebrate people that are building out their myth. They're not true to their character. So we're idolizing people that aren't even true to what they say they're doing, to how they're behaving. So I find that
that was loud. So apparently something happened outside, and that this will be funny.
But people are celebrating idiocracy where they think that's okay. They think that's cool. Okay. Like, so
I really believe people have always done that, though. I really think people has always not really worried so much about the authenticity of an artist, but worried about how they felt. Now we just have more access to find out if they're like that. So, because nobody was verifying if when Curtis Mayfield made Superfly, nobody was verifying if Curtis Mayfield was really pimping. He made a soundtrack about Superfly. I think we got so stupid that we started like conflating art in real life, and we wanted to believe it so bad.
Okay, let me rephrase that then. It's not that. It's more of, this guy wanted to be part of the gang culture, and everyone could tell that he wasn't. Like, no matter what he was trying to do, he was obviously not part of it. He was buying his way into it, right? So, but then he goes and attempts to live it, and does live it. I mean, from what we've read and what we can understand of the whole situation. Then he goes and he snitches. He rats out everybody of the crew, sends them to prison. For life, or however long.
It goes back to 77 million. So I do think this, though. I think that he'll have 77 million views, maybe 80 million, maybe 150 million views. But I don't think that he's going to be able to sustain himself, because he's not going to be able to get out there and like really see people. He made the majority of his money touring.
Well, what about, is he blackballed in the industry?
Well, I mean,
because it doesn't seem like it.
No,
or at least with a company like this.
Well, it's impossible to blackball somebody, because you could just make a video and just go out on the net. It's impossible to blackball. What I don't think is going to happen is, I don't think he's going to be able to go and do a bunch of festivals, because security just has to be off the hook for him, or they're going to make him supply his own security, or they might make him, like if he was doing like a medium-sized venue, they might make him supply security for the whole venue. I mean, it may wind up costing him a lot of money to do shows. So I don't think that's really it. I think that he has a chance of doing a lot of shows in Europe, doing a lot of shows in Asia and stuff like that, where they're not really worried about it too much, and it's probably a little more safety, and he could do festivals there. But I don't think like touring the United States and doing festivals is really a possibility for him.
Well, going back to what I said, and even going with what you're saying, because I want to know, all right? I've been reading the comments online, and I actually can understand why he did the snitching thing, right? He got himself in the culture. That's his wrong. That's his mistake. He made that decision, but he was also being used very, very much so by who he was associating with, who he hired, Shoddy and his crew, right? So he got himself out of that situation by ratting.
Well,
because he himself was being overly used. So I'm asking you, because like I said, I can understand. I'm not saying I am for it or I'm against it. I can understand from different perspectives. I got to ask you, if you were in his situation, what would you would have done?
Well, first of all, you got to not.
And now put in the parameters that people are using you and trying to get up inside your baby mama and might have and other shit like that.
Well, first thing is you can't get things for free, and he was using them for street credibility so he can talk shit. Soon as when you're a fluffy seal in a world of sharks, the sharks start taking bites of your ass.
Wait. In that video, though, it was a shark with rainbow teeth. So he implies that he's a shark.
Yeah, he's not. He's not a shark for shit. What he is a crybaby. But when it comes down and they just realize that, you know what, you're not who you say you are, you start getting fucked with. And they're actually your security. They're actually the people you want to keep you safe. So in his situation, I would understand everything he did, except he actually gave somebody or offered somebody 25 grand to shoot Chief Keef. It's on video. So he's a part of it, just like everyone else. If he was just an artist and they were extorting him and doing shit and slapping him around, and I said, well, yeah, he was an artist and he snitched on him, but fuck, man, he wasn't that guy anyway. That'd be different. He was just talking shit. But he actually was involved in his shit. He had problems with somebody. He told one of the homies, hey, go take care of this, and I'll give you this much money. You put a hit on somebody. He's supposed to do 40 years. He was going to do 40 years, but he snitched on everybody, and he was the first one to tell. A matter of fact, when the police got to him, they thought they were going to have to keep him to sweat him there for the whole weekend. He started telling them within an hour of being arrested. So he got arrested. He got sat in the station. He got sat down. They took him in and questioned him. And he said, I'll tell you everything.
For a deal?
Oh, well, he just started cooperating. He got his lawyer, and his lawyer said, hey, we want to show we're cooperating, and started talking to the feds, and they made a deal right there, and he told everything.
That's just so weird to say, like, just talking to the feds.
So that's so, I mean, I can't say that he's a victim because dude knew that he knew what he was getting into because you wanted to be the big thug blood. So that's the only thing I say. If you want to be the big thug blood or whatever, you're going to get caught. So I kind of don't understand because he was involved. Now, if he was just, hey, look, I fucked around and I got these guys for security because I thought it would be cool to have them in my video and this, that, and this. And I wanted to be like cool. I wanted to be down with them. But all of a sudden I'm down with them and they're doing all types of weird shit I didn't want to do. Then they did kidnap him. They did extort him. They didn't take money from him. They didn't fuck his baby's mom. So yeah, there's some animosity there. But if he wasn't the main, if he was the main instigator of a lot of shit, and he was just like, I'm just a kid trying to make music, and I'm using them as my credibility, then that would be a different thing. But he wasn't. He was someone who was trying his hardest to be hard because he wanted to walk around and talk shit and not face the consequences. And you know what? What bothers me is he still hasn't really faced consequences. And
would he have been able to do, well, besides the credibility, would he have been able to do that with a regular security force?
No, because a regular security force isn't going to act like Bloods and go shoot people for you and fire guns in the open for you.
But would they allow him to, would they maybe within the contract or whatever would be like, all right, you can talk as much crap as you can. We'll protect you.
No.
They wouldn't do that either?
No, because usually people who are working executive security, they don't want to be in a situation where you're just inviting trouble because it's hard enough to protect your asset anyway. And so like there's people who won't, first of all, most people who are like super professional, and I would say super professional, I mean like people who are like ex-military, have a lot of asset protection in maybe the Middle East, and maybe in Mexico. They're not even going to deal with rappers because of stupid shit. Just going to tell you. So if they do deal with a rapper, they're going to say, you're doing any stupid shit like this, I'm out. Because why would I deal with a stupid rapper when I can just go fucking be Tom Cruise's bodyguard? And make just as much money. And Tom Cruise is going to sleep early because he has to be on set at 6 a.m. So he's not up like, banging chicks and doing coke all night. Or let's say Tom Cruise, let's say somebody more relevant. Maybe Chadwick Boseman needs protection, right? Maybe he's going out every now and again. He's a young guy. He's going out between movies and stuff like that. It's going to be easier to deal with him because he's not going out flashing money and being just a total and complete dickhead. So to protect him, it's not so much attention. But for Tekashi, you probably need three or four times as many people to get your job done. So why would you do that? You know, I think that Tekashi is the quintessential problem with faking it until you make it. And look, he's still there. I don't wish nothing bad on anyone.
But would you say that it's also part of the industry that want people to market them a certain way where they will attract a following and essentially convert it into sales?
Well, the industry only does it if people buy it. I mean, it's just obvious.
Were people buying a lot of his music?
Well, nobody buys music anymore, but he had a lot of streams and he had a lot of crowds. But his antics actually started costing him money with shows before. So it started costing him money.
Yeah, because a couple shows are canceled.
Well, he had a string of shows canceled, and it was something like $4 or $5 million he missed out on. I mean, he had like over $1 million for his defense when he got arrested. So he had money. He was making money. He also knew that things were coming down, and he started firing all of his, like he fired Shoddy and he fired everybody. And so like they knew it was gonna be an issue. But I don't even think it's interesting with Tekashi anymore. I think it's sad. I think it's sad that like, you know, I'm just like, damn, is this what it comes to in hip hop? Because not even a physical aspect, but could you imagine if somebody went to jail and then came out talking shit after they snitched in like 2005? They'd have been like, nah, dude, get the fuck out of here. But just the fall off in the quality of music, the fall off in the availability of music, and the lack of character of just people in general will just go for it, you know. And look, there's kids watching this. They're usually children, but you know, there's kids in the Midwest who they're not living no stressed out gangster life or anything like that. They're the biggest stress that half of his fans have is like, man, you know, my mom and dad said I got to eat pork chops tonight, but I wanted top sirloin. You know, that's some of the issues that these motherfuckers have. They don't have issues like, you know, bullets whizzing through my windows and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a whole nother video that we can do about the different maturing rates of kids versus my generation and your generation.
Well, in my generation, you just had to be, I tell people this, in my generation, you had to be pretty much an adult at 18. I mean, like even something I was listening to 50 Cent talk about today, and he was like, at 15, he was out selling drugs, having sex, and being a man and getting shot at. By the time he was 22, he was fucking fully grown and understood what you could and could not do on the street. And so, like, it's a good thing that people don't have to grow up like that.
Oh, like, yeah, it's a very good thing, of course.
But it's also a bad thing that
it's almost allowing antics are starting to be coming out of control. Where, like, there's still previous generations where they're going to see those antics and not take that too kindly or lightly.
Well,
there is consequences.
You know, there's a saying that I love to say that, you know, hard times make good men and good times make horrible men.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. I've noticed there has been a change. I am at the tail end of the, I'm between Gen X and the millennial generation. And I can say that there is a little bit of a difference in thinking.
Right.
Even from me, from you, I can just tell.
Yeah.
So hopefully the state of music won't, or the state of youth culture will not be going down this route where it's okay to troll, it's okay to snitch, it's okay to make poor decisions and somehow still troll and be happy that you got away with it while other people got taken down. Like,
I just want to close with this. Hopefully, people can start leading with their talent and not with their gimmicks. And I think that would be the best thing. How was that?
Yeah.
Pretty cool?
Yeah, you got that right at the time.
Pretty cool? Yeah. All right.
So I was kind of rushing it a second there.
Yeah. No, I timed it.